Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Drought. Farmers in my electorate are grappling with the impact of climate change, hotter and drier seasons and more frequent severe weather events. For 2 successive years, we've had hailstorms that have devastated our apple orchards, leaving our growers desperate for horticulture netting to safeguard against such disasters in the future. Minister, in April 2018, you initiated a national strategy on climate change and agriculture. Minister, will you please advise the House around the content, funding and time frame for this strategy?
The Minister for Drought has the call.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. Can I thank the honourable member for her question? And you are right. In April last year, one of the first achievements after becoming Agriculture Minister at my first ministerial council of all agricultural ministers, state and myself, was to be able to get an agreement on a nationally coordinated approach towards supporting our farmers to a changing and adapting climate. And we were able to, with the support of the Victorian government, I need to acknowledge the former Agriculture Minister there, Jala Pulford, who took the lead on that, commissioned a report that was provided to the last ministerial council meeting in September last year, and the final report will be provided to ministerial council in September this year. So it's important that we get a coordinated approach between state and federal agencies to ensure that we're not duplicating expenditure. But it's also important to understand the work that our farmers and the government has already done, Mr Speaker, particularly since we first put a till in the soil. Our farmers have been adapting to a changing climate, and we are putting over $1.1 billion a year between government and farmers into giving them the tools to be able to adapt to a changing climate, the cutting-edge research and development that they need. It's also important that we continue to improve our landscapes. $1.1 billion has gone into land care itself, a great movement that has changed the land practices of our farmers for the better, not only in terms of environmental outcomes but profitability. And only last night, proudly, this government, as a signature piece to drought policy into the future, was able to pass the Future Drought Fund. $100 million dividend year in, year out. It is legislated, and we will be going out and consulting with the community. What a crazy idea that a government might go out and ask those whose money it is how it should be spent. And it will be looked at things like climate risk, about extension work, about how we can actually ensure our farmers take up the research and development that we've got to better equip them to adapt to a changing climate. That's what a government should be. It should be agile. It should be there to ensure that we deliver money that is purposeful and will be spent properly.